Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Lenoski. I've been shooting mountain bike videos for my Trail Boss channel for a little over 2 years now, and I've come up with 5 ridiculously cheap tricks to help you shoot point of view footage easier, quicker, and get better results. Okay, so to take advantage of all these tricks, you're gonna need a paint pen, a sunglass case, some nylon strapping, a 1/4-20 bolt, and an inner tube. My first tip is a super easy way to make sure that your camera is always pointed in the right direction. Stopping on the trail and trying to line it up using apps and while you're making your friends wait could be a real pain in the butt. And if you're changing it between helmets, chest mounts, handlebar mounts, anything like that, it gets even more complicated. So what I like to do is take a paint pen and make a mark across the mount, and then all you need to do is line up that straight line every single time you put on your camera. If I decide to take my camera and mount it on something different, I just throw it in the mount. I use the app to find the perfect spot, and then I'll take my paint pen and I'll make a mark right over the old lines, make new lines on the new mount, and then I have everything set for each different mount that I have. If you're like me, you've lost your fair share of sunglasses, and that leaves you with a bunch of these pouches laying around. And if you don't have a pouch, you could even find a nice soft sock. But I like to use these to put my cameras in so that when I'm out on the trail, I have something clean and dry to wipe off my lenses with, and it also adds some protection. So I store all my cameras in these little pouches, and that way I can just throw them in my backpack and I don't need to worry about them getting damaged. My next few tips are for gimbal users. If you're looking to get the most stable, smoothest footage possible, a gimbal is a must-have. So if you're already locked into something like a GoPro chesty mount and you want to make it as good as possible, I'm going to give you a few tips to make that happen. The first one is to lose all this extraneous mounting hardware. Going direct mount with your gimbal is going to be the best way to have the least amount of bounce when you're riding. The longer this is, the more it's going to bounce, and it's going to defeat the purpose of having a gimbal in the first place. The way that you're going to accomplish a direct mount is by drilling a hole in the center of your chest mount and using a 1/4-20 screw to attach your gimbal. But before you do that, make sure that your gimbal has a threaded hole in the back of it. Most manufacturers include that. There you have it, the direct mount. There are a ton of more robust chest mounts on the market, but going direct mount is the cheapest, easiest way to make the best use of what you've already got. My next tip is about making the stability even better. So once you've gone direct mount, if you still feel like you've got some bounce, you could replace these elastic straps up top with some nylon webbing. In order to replace the elastic straps with nylon ones, I remove the elastic ones and then I basically bust out my sewing kit, trim the nylon webbing to length, and use the plastic parts to make new straps using the new materials. Once you've replaced these top straps and gone direct mount, you're going to be bounce free and your footage will be more stable than ever. My straps are this ridiculous green color, and that's because I cut up a tie down strap. But if you want to spring a few bucks and go to a craft store or something like that and get some nylon webbing in black or camo and something cool, you could totally go for it. The last tip is all about speed while you're out on the trail, and it involves an inner tube. I take the inner tube, I cut it up and I make a bunch of rubber bands, and I use those rubber bands to hold my camera on the gimbal. So most gimbals look like this, where they have tiny little thumb screws that take about 30,000 revolutions to get your camera off. I use an inner tube to hold it on, and that way I can get it off super quick on the trail. I've actually never lost this, but if you're like me, my batteries are always dying on the trail, so I could take the battery, replace it, and then while my buddies are waiting, I can get my camera back on my gimbal and into action in just a matter of minutes. It's actually super secure. I've never had my camera blow off, and it just makes less downtime, less standing around, get you back in the action. Those are my 5 ridiculously cheap tips to make your film shoots quicker, easier, and hopefully give you better results. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you always hunting for the right angle every time you take your camera on and off your helmet? Would you attach your camera to your gimbal with an inner tube? Does your chest mount bounce around? And are you always hunting for something to wipe off your lens on your camera when you're a dirty, sweaty mess when you're out on the trail And are you always trying to find a place to put your camera so it's not getting damaged when you put it in your bag? Let me know what you think. Hopefully you find these tips useful. And until next time, I'll see you on the trail.